Hey guys, what it is yo girl Kadlac. Oh, my contact hurting already. What it is, you guys, it is yo girl Kadlac. I'm Kadlac Dixon. I'm the Draw My Life prison wife. I'm the legally blind artist that is rapping and painting for justice, hoping to see justice before all fades to black. Yes, it's your girl Kadlac. I hope this get right, because I'm trying to, it's hurting because I was just reading the transcript to y'all. Girl, I just spent 2.5 hours, really more than that, because I spent the hour something previous reading the opening parts of the trial, and then to read the testimonies of the two guys, the alleged victim/witnesses. That took 2.5 hours. This contact. So that was a lot of reading, black on white. That is very hard for me to read. And my contact, I think, is dried out. But if you do, that one is now, if you weren't on the live with me, that is now uploading so that the live will become a video that stays on YouTube. That says 7 hours before it finished uploading. So I guess tomorrow y'all can go and watch that, the video where I am reading through the transcript with the victim/witnesses, showing how they are basically incriminating themselves. They are kind of conflicting with one another. They're saying different things. So I got to point it out to you, because if you don't pay attention, it'll just slide past you. I'm going to do to that one just as I did to the 3 police statements, and I put all the differences and pinpointed those in the description box where you could put the timestamp and you can skip right to that point. I'm going to do all that optimization to this one as well once it is fully uploaded and when I get a chance. Okay, so now you have the 2 witnesses that conflict, and then you have the 3 officers that conflict. If you have not yet watched the testimonies of the officers, go check that out. That's already up there, uploaded. So now you have 5 different conflicting stories. Next, I believe I have to do Marcello's statement, which Marcello made his statement, but he was told to lie on the stand. So he did lie about an issue of being able to drive a stick shift. Other than that, the rest of his testimony is correct, but he was told by his public defender that if he does not lie about this issue, it's going to be better for him if he does lie about that issue, and that is why he lied. Marcello did not want to, and he went on and on about why. I don't know why I'm lying, saying that I can drive a stick shift when I cannot drive a stick shift. Marcello was only 19 at the time, did not have a driver's license, never drove. His parent as well never drove. There was no car in the family because his mother never drove. Nobody drove. But he had to say that he was able to drive a stick shift. So I was thinking, off the tail end of that, this would be a perfect time to, now that we have those inconsistent testimonies, and they still have not proved. We have the initial rules where the judge is saying basically the only thing that matters in this case, it really ain't what anybody is saying. It is what evidence is. You're supposed to try this case on what the evidence is. So they have a lack of evidence in Marcello's case. They have no fingerprints of Marcello's, which I don't understand how, but they don't. They have no weapon that they're charging him with as well. I do not understand how, but they don't have it, or else they're withholding it and not bringing it forward. They do not have Marcello's DNA. They do not have anything on Marcello linking Marcello to this car, to this instance, to this alleged crime. They don't have anything. They have nothing to prove, and they had the burden of proof to prove that Marcello indeed committed these crimes. And then also they left it to the jury to decide if the state did not prove that there was a weapon, you can charge him without the weapon. But of course, the jury chose to add the weapon enhancements on there, which escalated it from a minimum of 10 years all the way up to 40 years. Now it's a 40-year charge because they attached that weapon to it. So what I wanted to do was review back in I want to say 21, or it could be 2020, but I really think it was 2021. At that time, I was doing 3 YouTube channels. I was doing my channel now. I was doing a Legally Blind channel because I always knew that though I'm doing my channel for the purposes of freeing my husband, nobody wants to hear that. Honestly, they want me to go cry in a corner somewhere and just come back and bring them sweet little poetry and songs and happy stuff and pretty drawings, but they don't want to hear nothing about that. But that is that's my life, so I have to bring it in some type of way. So I attempted to split my channel up back then, and work on the channel of being legally blind and just my art, and not say anything about justice. That channel still exists, but I'm not there as much. I'm always here because this is where my heart lies. I want my family home. I want my family put back together. So that's why I'm always on this channel, and the other one kind of gets neglected. But back in that time, I also was running my cousin's channel. He is a fully blind person that basically cooks blind, cleans blind, does everything blind, and that's what he goes by on TikTok. Everything's blind. So we did a lot of videos together because I have disabilities myself, and he has disabilities, and it's a lot of discrimination, ignorance, a lot of things around disabilities. So we wanted to do a channel together that showed, though you are disabled does not mean that you are not able to do anything. It doesn't define you, though you got to rise above your disabilities, which I do it every single day. And he does it every single day and still maintains. So he's fully blind and I'm the legally blind. When we were doing music, we had a group we called Cousins in Crime. So we did a lot of videos together. So I want to review one of the videos that we did together back in the day, really 2021. And he was talking about this case. So let's listen to it. Sorry, I got the car on. You can hear it, but that's because it's hot. I can't cut the car off. It's too hot. So let's listen. That's my old intro. On the beach towel, but other than that. Okay, we gotta go back a little bit. I guess you gotta hear this. That was my old. And if you remember that, you the real OG. Hey, what it is, it's your girl Kadlac.
And your boy Mighty Mac.
And we are the Cousins in Crime. Crizine. What's a cousin in Crizine?
I don't know, it just sounded right.
Maybe we need to change that name. I don't know. Cousins in Crime. I haven't either. I guess no. Only crime I ain't did nothing on purpose, but I know I accidentally stole a beach towel. My only crime is loving Marcello. Loving Marcello is wrong. Stole candy. I don't want to be right.
I ain't never stole nothing about no stove.
Yeah, everybody that stole some.
As an adult.
Everybody
I ain't never stole no kid. I did walk out with a jigger ball before.
And you know your mama make you go take it back and tell the clerk sorry.
She made me take it back.
Grandma, we're cutting up.
They let me get home and Grandma was like, go take a bath.
What was the bath for? I'll link this. I'm going to link this video in the description box. You can't be saying that. She whipped you. Spanked.
Yeah.
Okay, let's skip over here a little bit.
She made me take a bath because I guess it was going to hurt.
Come on, play. It's having a time playing. Okay. Hold on, it's loading. Come on, play. They don't have all this time to wait. And I can't pause this camera. Really. his request. But what do you think about that? How do you feel about BG getting a second chance? Or because I think he did 10 years already. I really don't even know what he's incarcerated for. 21 but I is think
a
he
long
had
time.
14 years. So I guess he would have like, because he's talking about the pandemic and he wants to be with his family. Like,
in the words of WM, I believe he deserves a second chance.
who is WM?
You know I can't say that name.
Don't put that on it.
I can't say that name on here, but I'm just saying. I believe they deserve a second chance because, I mean, I understand about paying your debt to society, but it just, if you ain't up there, laying people 6 feet under, I know I can't say the other word, laying people 6 feet under and, taking their personal belongings and, personally injuring people, then I don't think that you should be there behind bars your whole entire life. Like, unless it's something real serious, the crime, the sentencing is really overrated. Like, they sentence you for crazy stuff, like crazy amount of years for stuff that they probably can't even prove in the first place.
Thank you.
You see how I'm tying that in?
Yeah.
They just sentence you, they over sentence you because they want to make an example of you, which that's not fair because these people have a whole life and family outside of that prison system that you just snatched away their whole life because you want to make an example of somebody. Somebody could have made a split decision or made a mistake, or they could have just been innocent altogether.
Oh, wow. I actually got to do a little research on what he's there for. I really didn't know he was incarcerated.
Wow.
I know Turk was, but I don't think Turk ever got out.
I don't know who that is.
No, he was another one of the Cash Money.
It's only like 2 days, like Lil Wayne and Baby.
No, Lil Wayne got out. Remember, he got the pardon.
Lil Wayne was in that too?
Yeah, but he got pardoned.
By Kim Kardashian.
No, by the last president. The last president, before he got out of office, he pardoned Lil Wayne. Mikey, now we don't have to bleep that out. The last yes, we know who the last president.
I said Trump.
Yeah, but
I can't say that.
I don't. You might have some supporters on there.
Let me the mushroom hole.
Yeah, so Lil Wayne had just got pardoned. So you didn't know that Lil Wayne was in, I don't know, what was he there for either? Like, I haven't been keeping up with nobody because, I do my channel.
My hair's going to bed. I just got them up out of Walmart, and
But, yeah, my channel, if you ever want to check me out, wink, wink, I am now I got to change my name because I am the Prison Wife Draw My Lifer 2020, and I do know we're in 2021. I just haven't made that update. But on the side, I am a prison wife, and I am fighting for my husband, who I believe to be wrongfully convicted and excessively sentenced. So,
I was just thinking about that. I think I dropped a mushroom. Did I drop a mushroom down there?
I can't see it. If you can't see it, you ain't dropped it. Oh yeah, it is.
I felt it.
It's right there.
I'll get it in a second. Y'all, I ain't gonna get that right now because I want to be like, oh, he dropped mushroom. I ain't gonna pick that up in the middle of the cooking, but I'll get it when I'm done.
Okay, so I know I called on D_Almighty Mac. He is multi-talented, just like your girl here. So what we've been like doing our own little private investigation, and now after investigating, well, we actually was doing court reporting too, because we was up here reading through transcripts and all types of stuff. So we trying to.
I'm gonna just use the rest of them because I'm not gonna use these for nothing else.
Sorry, so I keep switching hands. My hands going to bed. Like reenact it, trying to figure this out from what they have in the transcript. So we just gonna say right now that I think D_Almighty Mac done solved the case, y'all. Mm-hmm. So so what's your feelings on like?
Ooh, how can I hold
just
this
the case
phone?
in itself? Because I know you've been kind of keeping up with my videos and stuff.
Well, honestly, it was some things that didn't stand out to me as far as, being that the club where they say it happened, we just going for safety purposes, we just gonna say club. I'm not gonna go into details and let y'all nosy people know what club I'm referring to. But I've been to that club numerous times, and to go to that club, they move very strategically. It's the same that it's been for over 20 years, or at least the past 10 years that I've known. And give me a second, y'all. This is minced onion. For y'all, for those who just seen, I sniffed that. I am blind, so I have to sniff my seasonings. Not to put up my nose and boogers and stuff, but just enough so I could get a feel of what it is. A little swift. Let me turn that down a little bit.
This contact really
But
hurt.
yeah, I've been to that club numerous times, and just certain things that they were saying wasn't adding up. And we all know, I can't say what it was because you can't use the P word, right?
Nah, I would.
Okay, so we all know who I'm referring to. You know, blue. You know, the peeps in blue. We have to just make sure that certain things that they were saying about how the situation happened just wasn't adding up. I'm not really sure how much detail I can give y'all just for, safety purposes. And I'm gonna just move this because I do not like stepping on stuff. Just fit that to the side for a second. So, I don't know how much Kadlac done gave y'all so far, so I don't want to overtalk anything like that. But it was just, I've been to that club numerous times, and it just wasn't
okay,
adding up.
so let me point out some of the things that I may have touched on in the video, and you could just give me your take on it. So now, the first thing...
What is this?
Well, I can't see. Hold on. What is that? What? You all in the camera. This contact hurts.
Kinder's what?
Butter, garlic herb. Butter, garlic herb.
Butter bar.
Okay, so one of the things that did not make any sense to me, you all know that I did sit through the whole trial with my husband. And one thing that didn't make sense, this particular club is actually a club in a hotel. And they were saying that my husband was there committing a crime. And so we're like, and he said that he was at a 7-Eleven. So I'm like,
give me salmonella.
So I'm like, is it possible for y'all to just pull the surveillance to make sure he wasn't at the club? And they told me that the club does not have surveillance. Now, how do you feel about a club and a hotel really not having surveillance? And they said they really didn't see security out there like that, just at the door. How does that sound to you?
Well, that didn't make sense because that particular club has it has security. As you're coming into the parking lot is one way in, one way out. So that security, when you come into it, it's like, this is the security booth here. I'm sorry, y'all. I know this shirt probably fitting a little tight. It's just because I just threw this on. But it's the security booth right here. And to the left, you have the parking lot. So that particular night, it happened on a Sunday, that is a big night for that club, especially because it's free and they have mixed genres playing. So they have pop in one room, hip hop in one room, and then in the middle bar lounge, it is mixed. They're playing different genres in that one room. So you can get your feel in all three rooms. But it's very
you can
much,
move from room to room in there?
Yeah, it's very much security in that beginning. And it's always a police sitting right in front of that security booth.
And they said that night there was no one around, just the patrons that were allegedly robbed, Marcello and his cousin. Okay, so would you think that security cameras wouldn't be at the establishment? Because they said that as well.
I definitely think it's a business, so I definitely think, because when it comes to business, I know a lot of people say, oh, being a manager don't matter, but how would you have known if the bartenders were stealing? For there to be no cameras, how would you have known if bartenders were stealing, or if somebody get
drinking or something?
Right, or somebody get hurt and fall in the club? You would have to be able to prove all your cases, and with no probable.
I think they said outside the facility.
but anybody, that's still their property. So it might not be no cameras in that parking lot, but it definitely should be a camera on the hotel site that can see over that.
So that feels kind of shady.
Right.
Shaky, we'll say that. Yeah, that didn't sit right with me. I couldn't understand it. But to update you, I found a article.
I've been doing
where
a lot of
something
work.
did happen at that club in 2014.
Outside.
And the first thing they said, it happened in the same vicinity that they're saying this crime with my husband happened. And they said the first thing they did was check the security camera for a suspect. So back when my husband went to jail, they're saying there was no security out there. But between then and 2014, somebody put some security cameras up.
Right.
Okay, Mikey, what's the next thing?
I'm just drinking this water, y'all.
It's not boiling, is it? That's how,
Those Alfredo sauces.
that's how my dad say boink, burning. He said, well, boink, boink the bacon. I was like, what? He said, boink.
But the whole thing just seems just a tad bit uneasy because it makes me feel like I can't even go to the club because if I go to the club, they might jack me out there.
What you asked me to hand you?
Some Alfredo sauces.
Oh, I didn't get that.
What did you
Oh
get?
gosh, this contact
Oh crap!
hurts.
I forgot to
You
put
didn't
the
get
bread.
no Alfredo sauce.
Yes, yes, I already have it
Where's that at?
in the pantry, like I just said.
And you want me to hand it to you?
This thing hurts so bad. It's red.
Okay, so here's the Alfredo. What? I almost dropped it.
But yeah, that.
How do you clean up glass?
Me?
If you can't see, because I just almost dropped that glass on the ground.
Oh, I put my shoes on and make my perimeter.
Okay, so just tell. I'm sorry, we're gonna break really quickly so he can explain that to you. Because D_Almighty Mac is the blind chef, so we're trying to teach as well as we're conversating. So how would you clean that glass up?
So if you would have dropped it being clumsy, I would have just made my perimeter. So if it fell right here, so this would be my perimeter from this right here to this counter to this counter. So I would have just took the broom, and since I know you dropped it to the left, I would have started right there. And what I would have did was, say if you wasted over here, I would have just swept it to a corner. I would have made sure all of it was swept to a corner, and then I would clean it up.
Oh, okay. Thank you for clarifying that.
No problem.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Now, this too, because it's a lot of things that didn't add up, and I'm so glad I ordered that transcript and read through it. My eyeballs about to pop out their sockets from reading. Like, we read a full trial. Like, it basically, like, we was sitting through trial. It was so crazy. Yeah, it did. It literally took all day. So, after reading through it, I don't know what I'm trying to say. Oh, I'm sorry. After reading through it, my husband is accused of an alleged robbery, and they accused him of taking $60. And when he was found, the guys that were allegedly robbed said that my husband Marcello had robbed them of that $60. Okay, but they said that they had previously, when Marcello tried to rob them, that he said, give me your wallets, and both wallets were empty. So they didn't have anything on their wallets. So they was like, please just let us go. And then one guy remembered.
Y'all know this real hood and ghetto. I'm about to put this brand on now. But baby, let me tell you something. I don't believe in all them dirty dishes like that.
But one guy remembered that he had $60 in his pocket that he had borrowed from his friend, the bartender.
Right, and let me say that. I'm going to tell you this. My own family, if bartending is based off of tips, because pretty much when you do a bar, you get based off of tips. Baby, if I just made $60, I'm not finna give it to my friend or my family member. Baby, you know how hard I had to work to get that $60? How many drinks I had? He would have had to make at least to get $60.
Oh, tips.
Yeah, these are tips. Bartenders work off tips. To get a $60 tip, he would have had to make over 40 to 50 drinks. Who in the right mind finna give you $60 of the money? He probably had only made like probably $300 a night, and I'm finna give you 60. At that point, they said it happened at 11:55. The club had just really got popping by that time.
And the parking lot was
To
packed.
something else.
Parking lot was packed.
They said that nobody was outside to witness this.
That's
Right,
right.
which would have been impossible because, like I said, Sundays are big nights, and it's a lot of people there because it's a free night. So
The club would have been just starting.
it would have been
basically.
just starting.
People
So
arriving.
I doubt if he would have made, unless that
How'd he
bartender-
make that 60 that quick?
that
too?
fast, right?
Yeah.
Unless that bartender would have been there all evening, how did he make from the time the club usually start around 10? Let's just estimate 10 o'clock. How did he make $60 between 10 and 11:30? That's only an hour and a half. There's
And then
no way.
he gave him his whole night
He gave
tips.
him his whole till. Correct.
Yeah, his whole night tips.
Ooh, let me take my watch off.
Okay, so, but why wouldn't he have put that money in his wallet? Why would it have been up in his pocket? And his wallet, I'm guessing, was in his pocket too. Wouldn't you just put the money your bartender friend lent you into your wallet?
The thing
Would
I
you
would've
leave it
did,
freely in your pocket?
You know, I would have put it in my wallet, but I can't speak for everybody.
But so when they said Marcello demanded their wallets, and they took Marcello took their wallets, they were begging for Marcello, just please let us go, please let us go. And one just happened to remember, oh, I got $60 that I got from my friend the bartender. Let me give that to Marcello, and hopefully he'll let us go. That's what they were trying to say.
Right.
But then the transcript also goes back to a very important part. Both people say that Marcello took their wallet and looked in it, looked in the wallets, held them at G point, looked in their wallets, and also was like, come on, you don't have anything else? And that's when the guy said he realized he had $60 that was up in his
But
pocket.
my thing, most likely, when he pulled their wallet out, because one thing about sus is that, and when I say sus, I use that term loosely. Y'all know exactly what I mean when I say sus. The kids, one thing about the kids, they usually wear tight-fitting clothes. So, who calling me?
I can't see that.
It should be showing up. I'll call her.
My hand was blocked.
But,
Well, I don't know, Mikey. This.
When he
I'm
pulled
sorry.
it-
I don't know, Mac. This was actually the early 2000s, so that wasn't a style yet.
It wasn't skinny jeans out, but they still give me that, unless they had on skirts and tucks.
No.
And y'all know what I mean by tuck. If they had it tucked, when they pulled that wallet out their pocket, that money would have came out automatically with it. Because money usually sticks to the wallet. So when normally when I take my wallet out, my money falls with it. It'll fall out.
Yeah, if it wasn't in your wallet.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So when how was he able to give him the wallet unless it was in his separate pocket? But
Why would you do that?
right.
And this too, they said
was
that
I
I don't know, stir it up.
Oh.
They were saying
Oh,
that Marcello had both of their wallets, put his fingers on both of their wallets. But did you know that they would not dust the wallets for fingerprints?
That's crazy.
Like
Right.
that doesn't make any
So
sense.
how can they prove their case with no substantial evidence?
Because
I said
that-
like I was a law and order. Look at
But that would have completely proved that yes, Marcello had both of their wallets. So that kind of leaves the story sounding quite shaky.
right.
Okay, so that's issue number 2. We have some other things. We're gonna build this case out for you. My cousin just he's helping me out, and I'm just thankful for all the help that I'm receiving from everybody. Everybody all of a sudden is trying to help and get on board with this, and I just really appreciate it. But there was another thing. So we're going to keep building it up. But right now we have just one more issue because he is almost done with this meal. And
this called cooking and story time. Cooking and story time.
Okay, so the last issue was
what was that? That was a big piece of chicken. But I ain't gonna.
You can rinse it off, can't you?
I'm okay. It's not that serious.
So the last issue would have been.
I'm blind, so that's why sometimes it's a hit and miss. I drop stuff, but sometimes it's gonna come out delicious though.
So I would say the last issue is going to be the way that. Okay. So the Blues. They said that they.
Like the Blues. I'm into this.
They said that they observed the car that Marcello was in coming out of the club, and they proceeded out of the club. They approached the stop sign, ran the stop sign. At the same time, a cruiser was coming in the opposite direction, and the cruiser, before they even approached that stop sign, the Blue testified that he seen them come out of that club, come out of the parking lot of the club. That's what he testified, right? Mm-hmm. So if you seen that, I'm thinking that the Blue would have had to seen the alleged crime committed.
Period.
Because he said he can clearly see from there. So how do you feel about the route? Because they were saying they went a right, a left, and they did all types of stuff. But how do you feel about that situation now that we done read it and now we observed the area that it happened? Does it coincide with the transcript?
No, not from my understanding, because the way the streets are made, you can't directly see that parking lot.
And then I took that in there at this part where it's quiet. I was showing the road where you cannot. There's no way that officer seen that, and that's what I'm showing on there.
Because the street is a little further. The street
veers off a little over to the side.
The entrance. So unless they got freaking X-ray vision, I don't see
that
how
can
they
see around a little corner.
All that. Yeah, because that.
And
that's
at night,
hard to see.
at night, 11 at night.
But my thing is that even if they said that unless he was transporting himself, he was a what's that?
Jumper.
Yeah, when you just hopped, he transported himself up into this car. There's no way he could have been in the car the time that they say he was in there. They would have literally had to watch him get picked up with his cousin and then make a U-turn. Because their story's not adding up. They said they seen him from the which don't add up because that's not directly in front of the club. So how could you have seen them at the club? That wouldn't have made sense.
And they was on the other side they had to been on the other side of the stop sign. So from that point beyond the stop sign, how did they see that car come out of that club?
Now,
and then there's another part
how things can be manipulated from, always have your proof and your backup and your evidence. I go around with an evidence kit because I don't need nobody trying to get me trapped up, locked up, or jacked up because I don't got time for that. Okay.
So now this is the last part about that road situation. The road that the Blue said that they were on, they were coming in the opposite direction. They had just witnessed the vehicle Marcello was in exit the club. They just viewed that, and it ran a stop sign. Now, my thing about that, when they said they seen it roll the stop sign, is how they said it.
I mean, that's all right there.
The way they seen it roll the stop sign is so close. They said when the stop sign got rolled, the police came from the opposite direction, made a U-turn and got behind them, right? But the road was too small. It wouldn't have been a way for you to do that except you were in the middle of the intersection of a main highway that the club sat on. Like, how could they have done? And then they said this was a high-speed chase, but the distance is so short. How could it be? Do you think it could be a high-speed chase and that short of a distance?
No, they wanted to prove their case by saying that they were criminals, which was high speed, because you can't even pick your speed up and point. By the time you pick your speed up, you at the end of the stop sign. You're right at the stop sign. So you could have picked. There's no way you could pick your speed up in like 3 seconds, and that car accelerates like that. I mean, the car is gonna jerk if you throw that car. Especially this is. You gotta remember, y'all. This is a stick shift. So you have to wait for them gears to act right.
I don't know nothing about stick shift.
You can't. By the time you switch, well, maybe because it's a stick, you probably don't gotta wait for the transmission to switch over. But I don't think even in the stick, because for him to have hit the span, he would have to put the car in.
He wasn't even going fast. Remember, they watched him exit the club. He was coming out slowly out the club like normal, right? Because they didn't notice nothing until he ran the stop sign. And then it was a high-speed chase. But there's not enough distance for that. For all of those accounts, it's not enough distance. And we're going to show you it's on the ground.
Where?
Towards your foot.
Which one?
Right there.
This one?
You know I don't know left and right.
This one, I'm moving.
Yeah, that one. I do know left and right. I just get confused. I have something called mouse dyslexia, which is crazy. But I use my mouse backwards. I think everything is kind of rigged up backwards for me, and y'all know that. But whenever someone tells me to turn right, I turn left. I don't know what that is, but then I think about it and then I turn right. But I cannot, if you tell me right, left, I'm not going to understand it until after a while. But yeah, just riding through, I'm going to actually put in like a little bit of footage to show you what I'm talking about. And it's just really not enough area for what they said took place in the trans.
Uh-oh. It's playing the wrong thing. It's not playing the right phone.
Experience good health as his children.
Hold on,
we
guys.
Can be confident in his promises.
It's almost over, but it's playing now Joel Osteen rather than playing my phone, because the phone I'm on recording was going dead.
To reach one level and stop.
Yes, Joel.
Stop sign. So
Okay,
you
so let's go back a little bit, just a little bit.
It's not adding up. They said they seen him from the, which don't add up because that's not directly in front of the club. So how could you have seen them at the club? That wouldn't have made sense.
And they was on the other side of they had to been on the other side of the stop sign. So from that point beyond the stop sign, how did they see that car come out of that club?
Act right.
I don't know nothing about stick shift.
You can't. Okay. By the time you switch.
Please stop by.
Why does it keep doing that?
I promise you.
Joe,
we'll
not now.
But thanks so much.
Joe. Oh my gosh. Y'all. This thing
even in the stick, because for him to have hit the span, he would have to put the car in.
He wasn't even going fast. Remember, they watched him exit the club. He was coming out slowly out the club like normal, right? Because they didn't notice nothing until he ran the stop sign. And then it was a high-speed chase. But there's not enough distance for that. For all of those accounts,
their stories,
it's not enough distance.
It doesn't make sense.
And we're going to show you it's on the ground.
Where?
Towards your foot.
Which one?
Right there.
This one?
And hold this little camera. We ain't got the camera situation worked out yet. So
did y'all see that versus with
I can't get back to that spot.
Buffalo Wind, yes. I do have corporate tunnel. of the intersection of a main highway that the club sat on. Like, how could they have done? And then they said this was a high-speed chase, but the distance is so short. How could it be? Do you think it could be a high-speed chase and that short of a distance?
No, they wanted to prove their case by saying that they were criminals, which was high speed, because you can't even pick your speed up and point. By the time you pick your speed up, you at the end of the stop sign. You're right at the stop sign. So you could have picked, there's no way you could pick your speed up in like 3 seconds. And that car accelerates like that. I mean, the car is gonna jerk. If you throw that car, especially this is, you gotta remember, y'all, this is a stick shift. So you have to wait for them gears to act right.
I don't know nothing about stick shift.
You can't, by the time you switch, well, maybe because it's a stick, you probably don't gotta wait for the transmission to switch over. But I don't think even in a stick, because for him to have hit the span, he would have to put the car in.
He wasn't even going fast. Remember, they watched him exit the club. He was coming out slowly out the club like normal, right? Because they didn't notice nothing until he ran the stop sign. And then it was a high-speed chase. But there's not enough distance for that. For all of those accounts, it's not enough distance. And we're going to show you it's on the ground.
Where?
Towards your foot.
Which one?
Right there.
This one?
You know I don't know left and right.
I was trying to skip this, but every time I move the scroll bar, it goes too far.
Left and right. I just get confused. I have something called mouse dyslexia, which is crazy. But I use my mouse backwards. I think everything is kind of rigged up backwards for me, and y'all know that. But whenever someone tells me to turn right, I turn left. I don't know what that is, but then I think about it and then I turn right. But I cannot, if you tell me right, left, I'm not going to understand it until after a while. But yeah, just riding through, I'm going to actually put in like a little bit of footage to show you what I'm talking about. And it's just really not enough area for what they said took place in the transcripts. So, I guess, Mike, are we done?
Almost. I'm waiting on the bread, and I'm waiting on that to heat up.
The pot overflowing. That's how.
Okay, so I think he's done with those parts. But I like the way he was explaining it, because when you just are sitting in trial and you're just listening to matter-of-fact language, it could make sense. But when you actually know this area, when you know how things are, when you know that shit don't sound right. Like, you've been past there. He's actually been there, and he knows how security works and stuff like that. It doesn't make sense. It does not make sense. The police's account do not make sense of what happened. All of them are trying to make it look like Marcello ran, when in fact he didn't run. Why do they want Marcello to have run? And then all of them are deleting the driver. Why do they want this driver deleted? Even though their stories aren't aligning, they're still trying to do the same thing. They're trying to delete the driver, and they're trying to put it all on Marcello. Then also, everything ties back to Marcello miraculously. These wallets, the money, the weapon, everything ties to Marcello. Well, the only reason everything's tying to Marcello is because they had deleted the driver. It's not making sense. It is not. Not one police testimony made sense, and not one of the victim/witnesses testimony made sense. It is too much areas of gray. Doubt is reasonable doubt all up and through this case. Where is the surveillance? The surveillance could have cut and dry said whether this happened or not, but they withheld that and said it did not exist. Where's the surveillance at the 7-Eleven? So we could prove that Marcello either was or wasn't at 7-Eleven. If he was at 7-Eleven, that means he couldn't have been at that club. So where's that surveillance? Why are these things being withheld? Because they didn't want Marcello to ever be able to prove where he actually, in fact, was prior to getting in that car with his cousin. They didn't want him to prove that. Him proving that would prove that this didn't happen. I'm sorry, that this didn't really happen. It would prove, in fact, of what really did happen. What really happened is that the two guys were at the club. They did leave that club. They left that club with the cousin. Across the street from the club is the hood. Place you really don't want to be caught up in. You go in, take care of whatever business you need to take. These are two white guys. That's why they were sitting in the back, so that they don't just see them driving up through this hood. Also, they were boyfriends. That's why they also were together in the back. It is a two-door. So the cousin is driving, heading up in the hood so he can serve these guys. And on the way from Marcello walking, because Marcello had spent that whole day with me. I had dropped him off not too long before this all happened, and he rode his bike the rest of the way to his female cousin's house. He said he got bored there. He walked up to the 7-Eleven. So all this is what took place after I dropped him off. He walked up to the 7-Eleven, bought a drink, and he was walking back home. On his way to walking back home is when his cousin drove past and was like, "Hey man, you want to ride?" Well, he gets in the passenger seat. That's the reason why he was in that passenger seat, because it's a freaking door. It's a two-door. The guys were already in the back. You can't really, it's harder to change seats when you are in a two-door car. So they were both sitting in the back going, they finna get served. So a question came up, why was not one of them in the front and one in the back? But if you going up in the hood to get served, what you want to be sitting in your white? I mean, you don't look like you belong in this hood. Why would you want to be sitting up front in the car? And plus, your boyfriends. If I'm going with somebody somewhere, I know this to be true. If somebody was picking me and Marcello up, say I'm going to buy whatever. Okay, I'm going to the Bootleg Man. Back in the day, we used to frequent the Bootleg Man. And I don't know where the Bootleg Man is, so I'm going to have my cousin drive the car to the Bootleg Man. But me and Marcello are boyfriend and girlfriend. When we jump in that car, we is both going to get up in the back because I'm going to sit by my man. Like, that's how it always went. I'm not going to jump in the front and Marcello jumps in the back, or Marcello's not going to jump in the front and I jump in the back. We together. We're going to be holding hands. We're going to be sitting up in that back seat as you basically taking us to this Bootleg Man. So that was a big question that was always asked. Why is Marcello the passenger? And really, for it to have the puzzle pieces to fit correctly, exactly, they would have needed Marcello to be the driver. So they had to come up with this alleged story of switching sides and stuff so that can explain away why Marcello was not the driver. They had to explain that away, because without Marcello being the driver and this driver getting away, the story just don't make no sense. All right, guys, my eye hurting. My eyes first hurt from reading this transcript. My contact is dry. It is really irritating this eye. Take them out, I can't see nothing, so I'm trying to hold them in. My hands are going to bed ringing because of my carpal tunnel. And girl, I'm hungry, so I'm finna go. My dad done cooked. I've spent a lot of time on this case this last couple of days. Girl, I had to take a few days off because my body hurts so freaking bad. Like, they working me to death. I have almost bone on bone in my neck. I have 3 herniated discs in my neck, pinched nerves in my neck, herniated disc in the bottom of my back. That's almost bone on bone that causes me sciatica. My carpal tunnel is all riled up. I am hurting, tight, and sore. I've been on that register all week, which really got my hands numb as I don't know what. I can't even hardly move my hands. So I'm going to go and take a few, like a breather. I might take a little walk or something. I took my muscle relaxers, but that didn't really do a lot to help me. But yeah, so I'm gonna be back later, and hopefully we're gonna work on the next live. We're gonna work on finishing those paintings for Miss Money, and while I'm doing that, I'm gonna go back to listening to the playlist that started out about I almost did it, about Corey Miller and his strike, and also his wrongful conviction claims. We're actually digging and seeing, do they seem legitimate? Does it seem like he got a raw deal? And in the course of that, I ended up jumping back on Marcello because I just want him home, girl. So anyways, here's your girl Kadlac.